guys, so I recently made a post on my Instagram asking if anyone would be interested in a video tutorial of my Mettaton heels, and a few people were, so I thought I'd go ahead and make this. This is basically just going to be a video version of a tutorial on DeviantArt by Lola in progress, which I'll put a link to down in the description. So basically what you're going to be making is a heel like this with a sock over it. And it's cheaper, a lot cheaper than buying most like $50 hot pink heels on Amazon. So if you don't want to spend that much money for shoes that you're only going to wear a few times for one costume, this might be a good option for you. Also, like I'm really small, so a lot of those heels do not fit me well, they're all baggy. So maybe if you have something like that, or maybe if the heels would be too tight around your legs, you could get some socks that'll fit around you better. So this could be good for many reasons. You don't need too many supplies. Basically, to start off with, you need some cheap and comfortable heels. Hopefully you can get both of those in one shoe. I got these on Amazon for about $10. Keep in mind, whenever you do this, it's not really reversible. You can't like take the sock on and off the heel. That's why I don't think you should use really expensive shoes or shoes that you want to wear a lot. Because basically with this heel, whenever I stripped everything off of it, you kind of just get like something sad like this. So yeah. After that, you'll need some socks. I got these from We Love Colors, which they have a bunch of stuff. So maybe if your Mettaton is more of a purplish tone, I've seen some like that, or maybe you're going for a pale pink tone, it's good because they have a lot of options. This is the color Neon Pink. My camera's probably not really showing the color very well, but this is like highlighter pink in real life. So you just have to keep in mind that whenever you're actually wearing them, since these are basically like tights, it's thin. So whatever you have on underneath, it can change the color. Because you might have noticed in my colors, it's not a bright highlighter pink, it's more muted. That's because I have black underneath the socks, which mutes it. After that, you'll need some felt. Probably only 2 sheets, but it's always better to get more just in case you mess up, so I have 4. You'll need some glue. You could use hot glue or tacky glue, fabric glue. You could even use Mod Podge, really. You just need glue, something like good glue, not like a glue stick. You'll need scissors. These are fabric scissors, so fabric scissors are best, really. But it's fine to use regular scissors because you're just going to be cutting felt and paper, not fancy fabrics or anything. So, whatever you have. And you'll need some paper and a pencil and some tape. You probably might not need the tape. I always just use tape on everything. Like, my Mettaton cosplay is 90% tape. And, so yeah, with all the materials out of the way, we'll get started with the actual tutorial. So the first thing you want to do is trace around the bottom of the shoe. This is going to give us a template to use for a couple of things throughout the cosplay. So just kind of lay it on the shoe and trim around the edges, try and get it to match as closely as possible. It's not too big of a deal if it doesn't, but it's helpful. And you're basically going to cut around your template on the felt to start out with. If you have any sewing pins, it might be good to use them so you can hold the template still. And just put it onto the shoe and do the same thing as before, and trim the edges. This one you do want to try and get it pretty close, but this one isn't actually going to be visible. This is actually felt, so whenever we put the sock on, our sock isn't rubbing against the bottom of the shoe, it's rubbing against felt. This will prevent any wearing and tearing and runs. You do not want runs in these at all. If you get a run in this sock, then go cry or something. I don't know, you're done. Start over. So here we are putting the sock on. I like to put the seam on the bottom of the shoe, that way you don't see it whatsoever. Be very careful putting it around the heel, you don't want to tear anything on accident. And just tuck it all around until it's good, and cut a little hole, I'd say directly above where the sock meets the heel. Be very careful at this part. You just want to kind of slowly cut into it and slowly tug it along. If you tug too fast or try to force it, you will get runs. Just go slowly. I promise your patience will pay off. The first time I did this, I had runs on both of my socks because I wasn't patient. Now here, I'm putting glue around the edges. So this is to prevent runs. Because once the edges are kind of hard, they can't really run up, I guess, and cause runs throughout the sock. And here I'm cutting a little hole in the bottom so I can put glue around there and further stabilize it and prevent the sock from just shifting around whenever you're walking. This isn't totally necessary, but I like to have the added security of it. Here I was using tape, but I ended up not needing it, so you probably won't need it either. Anyway, now we're going to cut more felt again, but this is actually going to be the sole of the shoe. I'm using black here because I thought having a cool black bottom would be a nice contrast against the pink. If you want to have a different colored sole, plan ahead for the heel. You might want to paint the heel before you do any of this, but in this case I didn't really need to paint the heel. Here again, you want to trim around the edges. This time you do want it to be pretty close because this is actually going to be visible on the shoe. You don't want any felt jutting around or anything like that. And you want it to kind of blend in nicely to where it'll meet the heel and look like an actual bottom of the shoe. And once everything fits around nicely, you can apply glue. Try to remember which side you want to put this on, because I forgot and kind of did it wrong and had to peel it off and put it back on, and it was just kind of a mess, but it's okay. This is actually can be slightly beneficial, which I'll explain why. This wasn't fun though when I had to dab it with another piece of felt trying to get it to stick on, but you know, life can't be perfect. Okay, and here I decided to take some black paint, and this isn't totally necessary, but I wanted to get rid of the raw looking edges where the sock was meeting the heel by filling in those areas with some black paint. And you can blend them up into the heel, especially if your heel's a patent look and you don't want that shine. You can just go over it with some acrylic paint and get more of a matte look. Again, this isn't totally necessary, but it can also help with further reestablishing the anti-run glue and paint bond, I guess. I don't know what you call it, but it's helpful. You just want to try and keep it very smooth so you can have a clean edge. You don't want it to look splotchy or anything like that. So again, take your time and be patient. You'll be thankful for it later. And now here you want a more black paint. And this is to create some little big globs of acrylic paint on the bottom of the shoe. This is almost to act as a grip, especially when you're walking on slick surfaces like tile. This is why the glue wasn't too big of a deal for me, because I felt it could maybe just add on to the grip. It's going to be kind of tacky when you walk around at first, but the feeling will go away eventually. That pretty much covers the entire tutorial. The heels I just made are now drying, but here is what they'll look like. Yeah! This is what I was talking about, where this part is muted and that's the type against my skin. So normally what I do is I actually have tights on underneath the leggings, that way I can continue the black color onto my feet. Because I found with socks, the socks would kind of slip down. Yeah, with this you could have the socks kind of showing, or I know that sometimes I would kind of roll them down, try and make the sock a bit less noticeable, but there's not much you can do about that. Well, yeah, I hope that the tutorial was helpful. I don't know if I'll make more in the future, because this was kind of an awkward setup and I don't have very much So just let me know what you thought, and I'll see about maybe making more.